Good morning and welcome to all our viewers this morning from across Africa to the Absa Art Hotspot, where today we are going to be focusing and addressing any questions you might have on the 2021 Absa L'Atelier art competition. To introduce myself, I'm Dr. Paul Bayliss, Senior Specialist Art Curator at Absa and Project Manager on the Absa L'Atelier. I'm also going to be joined this morning by Dr. Avitha Sooful, National President of the South African National Association for the Visual Arts, otherwise known as SANAVA, and Absa's partner on the Absa L'Atelier. Dr. Sooful is also Senior Lecturer in the Department of Visual Arts at the University of Pretoria and a practicing artist. Morning, Avi. How are you today?
I'm well. Thank you so much, Paul, for inviting me. Nice being here.
And really, really great that you could be here. And can you believe that this is the 35th year of the Absa L'Atelier?
Time really flies when you're having fun, Paul. Yes, I can't believe 35 years has traveled quite quickly. And I must say, we've come together for many years. And the competition has really evolved into a fantastic, or should I say, phenomenal competition. And I'm so glad that we eventually managed to open it up to the continent of Africa. Yes, and we're going to be talking about that just now as well. So it really is, and that was a milestone when we did that a couple of years back. Yeah, I must say, many people were nervous, but we have retained the integrity of the competition, and that is the most important thing. And for me, opening it up to the continent of Africa means we are opening up doors to other countries, the talent that is phenomenal. So, a very, very good move on Absa and SANAVA's part. And a fantastic partnership. Thank you. My second guest is Gordon Froud. In addition to being Vice President of SANAVA, Gordon has been actively involved in the South African and international art world as artist, educator, curator, and gallerist for more than 30 years. He also presently holds the position of Head of Department for Visual Arts at the University of Pretoria. Morning, Gordon. Thank you for joining us. How are you today?
Morning, Paul. Morning, Avi. I'm fantastic. Thank you. Great to be here.
And Gordon, I'm liking the backdrop there. I mean, that's looking, Diane Victor there looking over your shoulder.
Yes, she, of course, was one of the early winners of the Atelier competition, and she keeps a constant watch over me and keeps me in check. And her show opens next week, so a great kind of testament to artists who've been in the competition who's still making work.
Fantastic. Thank you, Gordon. And again, thanks for joining us. As indicated and stated in the beginning, this is a briefing session for this year's Absa L'Atelier art competition. So to all of you that have joined us this morning, that are watching us, please feel free to type your questions and we will try to address as many of them as possible. The website for the Absa L'Atelier is also appearing on the bottom of your screen. The competition is open to artists that are aged 21 through to 40 years. And you must be a permanent resident and residing in one of the 12 African countries where Absa has a presence. So this includes Botswana, Ghana, Kenya, Namibia, Nigeria, Mauritius, Mozambique, Seychelles, South Africa, Tanzania, Uganda, and Zambia. The entry mechanism is also online this year. So please go on to follow that link that you see on your screen and then register onto the website. Once you're registered, you may log in and begin to complete your entry. And what we are asking for each of the artists this year, it's one entry, but it includes a portfolio of works, a minimum of 4 artworks to a maximum of 5. Please note that the website is already open for entries. We did open it at the beginning of March, and it will remain open until midnight Central African time on the 31st of May. So you've still got 2 months to prepare your work, go on, register, and there is also a contact form there. So if you have any questions or anything that we might not be able to address this morning, you may reach out to us through the contact form and we will get back to you as well. So let's let's dive into the first set of questions that we do have. And I think one of the main questions that every artist does ask us, Avi, is there an entry fee for the Absa L'Atelier?
No. Why should you have an entry fee? You know, we are looking at talent. We are looking at the artist. It's not a money-making scheme at all. And it's important for us to really understand that we are reaching out to artists. They need to reach out to us by entering this competition. So no, there's no entry fee.
And these could be artists that are professionally trained, artists that are self-taught. You don't even have to have a degree or qualification or anything to enter the competition.
That's true. You know, one doesn't need to look for talent outside of what one has. And having a qualification does not mean to say you have the talent or the creative ability or the bravery we are looking at. So that is the reason why the competition is really open. All the limitation is that you must be maximum 40 years of age. So we're looking at artists who are already in the realm of being an artist, not just emerging out of a university or a school career itself, but people who have already decided being an artist is my career. So this is an opportunity for them to really look at what Absa and SANAVA have to offer in terms of the competition, and we will assist in making that career possible.
And all we're asking you as an artist is enter. Go online, register, and then begin uploading your entry there. Our second question that we have, that we've got, I see that has come in. And Gordon, I'm going to pose this question through to you, is, as an artist, why should I enter the Absa L'Atelier?
To have the opportunity to actually show work and to present a body of work that will take you international is a really, really important thing for any artist. The possibility of going to Paris or to have your career exposed throughout Africa is also an incredible kind of thing. Artists always thrive on the fact that exposure gets them to places that they couldn't get to on their own. And, you know, with Africa being the current hotspot in the world, artists are like El Natsui and what have you, William Kentridge, blazing the trail throughout the world as some of the top artists. This is an opportunity for artists to actually engage and get themselves onto that platform. It's something I wish I were young enough to enter myself.
But you were Gordon, you were a previous entrant?
Yes, I have entered the competition many times, and I was even fortunate enough to be a Merit Award winner on one of the competitions in 1 year. But I entered for about 10 years in a row.
And I think that's an important point you raise there, Gordon, is it's important for artists to keep coming back and to keep entering the competition year on year.
That's vitally important because, you know, you may not get on in a particular year. That doesn't mean you're no good. It just means that your work didn't suit the criteria of those judges on the day. Enter again, enter again. Of the 10 years I entered, I got in 5 times. 5 times I didn't get in. And then in the final year, I got a Merit Award. So, you know, don't be put off by the fact if you don't get in or if you don't win an award. Just keep trying.
And it's also about being able to showcase your work, because one of the things that we do through the L'Atelier, and it comes back to our first question, Avi, is why should you enter it? Because it's one way of getting your name out there as well. Because what we then do as Absa and SANAVA and through the Absa Gallery, we also hold a number of collaborative exhibitions where we would invite previous entrants and finalists that have come through the L'Atelier and also showcase them on some of those exhibitions as well. So it is important, one way of getting your name and your brand out there and making people aware that you actually do exist.
I think that's very, very important that artists maintain their momentum and they do not feel flattened by the idea that they did not win. They could only be, in this instance, 3 so-called winners, 3 ambassadors. But the spectrum of artists that we look at is vast. So the competition itself is really, really a tremendous effort on your part to make sure that you're part of it.
Yes.
You know, so the competition itself is literally a competition. It's not just an entry into a program where you will win. It is really showing your capability, the possibilities, your uniqueness, your attitude towards being an artist. And as Gordon has mentioned, you know, you've got to keep trying.
Yes.
There's no loss. You could gain so much from simply networking during the processes of entry.
And that's so important. We are going to have a short break now and just look at some of the previous artwork entries. Welcome back. One of the questions that we've just received is, Avi, is when does adjudication take place, and how long does it take?
The adjudication takes place in June, and it's really a grueling month, a whole month of adjudication, because one has to go through the thousands of entries that have come through, and it's literally that. So a month to adjudicate, and it's the month of June when this takes place.
And in terms of the adjudicators, and I'm going to pose this both to yourself, Gordon, and to yourself, Avi, what are the adjudicators looking for in a successful entry?
Well, you want to go first, Gordon?
I can kick off with that. Originality is the most important thing. We don't want to just see another copy of somebody else's work that's come out of Art International magazine or something. We're looking for something that's fresh, something that has a voice of its own, something that distinguishes itself as somebody who's taking a new road forward. That for me is vitally important.
I agree completely. I think the uniqueness, I mean, how does your work stand out against the rest of the competition? Yes. How have you pushed boundaries? How have you shown creative bravery in what you've actually done in order to create the uniqueness? How you've used material, the processes, the problem solving that you've actually done. But most important, when one looks at the work, presentation is most important, because we don't want to look at blurry images. We want to see crystal clear, crisp images, so we don't have to try and search for the work. The work must be the visual language you are promoting as an artist. So we would like to see a very professional image that you actually submit.
And it's also one way of teaching the artist as well. It's not just about producing your work, but it's how you now document it, so you can then upload your entry that, as the adjudicators are actually looking at it, because the adjudication, all of it is going to be online. You need to document that work properly so it does come across, as you say, almost crisp, clear, and there's no sort of uncertainty or grey areas therein.
Most definitely. And, you know, with COVID, that has almost crippled the world, our lives have changed. We are now so dependent on technology. Artists as well. So we might as well start reflecting on how our lives have changed and start adopting rules that govern us as artists. If exhibitions are online, we need to ensure that we understand what is expected of us.
And maybe, Gordon, to pose a question to you, technique, how does that feature through adjudication?
Technique is very, very important in this process. And again, it's not just the ability to be able to draw realistically or to paint abstractly. It's a lot more about what is the thought process? What is the work about? How does your technical ability actually bring that forward in such a way that the viewer understands what you're communicating? The very good thing about the competition as well is that it's open to a very large range of technical possibilities. Everything from digital art through to more traditional kind of painting, sculpture, printmaking. We are not looking for a particular something. We're looking for something that stands out. So technique is an important part of it, but the content is in fact even more important than that.
And there is no theme to the competition, so it does open it very broadly.
Yeah, that in itself is really quite kind of intimidating, one would say. But if you're an artist who has really walked that road of being an artist, then you are not really buying into a specific theme that's often set in competitions. Here we are looking at the artist, and what you are presenting is unique. So it's not directed towards a specific theme to see how well you can answer that question in terms of a visual. We're looking at what you are doing, how you're doing it, and how can we assist. The onus is upon you to enter the competition.
So there you go. Technique, originality, how are you presenting your work, particularly with capturing it and presenting it into this virtual space, and how are you putting yourself forward? Those are some of the things that the adjudicators are looking at, and some really worthwhile tips that both Gordon and Avi have given. So it's hopefully that is setting you on the right path. I would also encourage you as an artist, go look at the terms and conditions, because there are some constraints in terms of size of the work, etc., that you do need to bear in mind. So please just take what Gordon and Avi have said and look at that in relation to the terms and conditions, and then you are on the right path. The next question that we've got is, how will I know if my work has been chosen as a finalist? And what we will do as the Absa L'Atelier team is if your work has been chosen, we will reach out to you. And we will contact you individually. Please, as Avi has indicated, adjudication is in June. And the award ceremony and the announcement of the winners will be done in September. That will be live streamed as well across each of the countries that are eligible to enter, where you would be. So you can also join in that celebration. So between July and the beginning of September, if you are a successful artist that has been selected, it is during that time that we would reach out to you. The next question that someone has asked us, I see, is which well-known and successful artists have come through the competition?
Well, I think we're looking at Diane Victor peering over Gordon's head there. This competition, being 35 years old, has brought through numerous artists, not just with the Atelier. We must not forget the Gerard Sekoto.
Yes.
And that has actually walked its own path. Eventually, it has become a platform in itself. And that is a phenomenal achievement in terms of this competition. But looking at the arts, we have Penny Siopis.
Can I just interrupt you there, Abby?
Yeah.
Excuse me. And I think we also, we've mentioned Absa and SANAVA, But through the Gerald Sokoto, we must just also recognize our partnership that we've got with the French Embassy in South Africa, IFAS, and the Lance Francais, that are actually the sponsors of the Gerald Sokoto Award. So forgive me for, interrupting there.
No, you're forgiven. I think it's important for us to mention that, because that particular aspect of the competition also brings forward an artist, specifically from South Africa. That particular artist would be from this particular country, but the Atelier looks at the other 12 countries, and we have artists like Penny Siopis, Diane Victor, Berko Wilsonach, we can name it, Banele Koza, and lately we have had Marguerite Kirsten, we've had apart from Banele, we've had
Pauline Hutter.
Yes, Pauline Hutter, and we've had Ranji from and Winifred, our last two winners, as well as who's the South African winner?
Kensani.
Kensani, yes, I think it is fantastic. Yes.
And of course, Lawrence Limana.
Yes.
Early winners of the Gerard Sokoto Award, and that really helped to put him on the map, where he still practices as an artist and as a lecturer at UNISA. That was all from winning that award.
Yeah, and I also came across Isaac Kanyile, in 1996, the first black South African to have won the competition. I think it was phenomenal then, and he's a phenomenal artist.
And still practicing today, yes.
Yeah, I think it's fantastic what the competition has done in terms of placing artists in their rightful place.
Yes.
And, for us to have opened the doors to Africa and to allow other African artists to participate in this, opening their doors to their creative abilities and careers, I think is really a fantastic effort on the Atelier competition.
And it's to each of you, the only way you're going to be able to make use of this opportunity is by entering. You can't say, well, I haven't won if you're not throwing your hat in the ring. So you have to get into that ring. You have to box a bit, and you have to put yourself out there like artists do. And then, who knows, the world, as they say, becomes your oyster. We are going to have another breakaway, and we're going to show you a video on how to enter your artwork on the Absa L'Atelier website. Welcome back. And I think, as you can see through the process, it's pretty easy. All we need you to do is go to the website, register, and then once you've registered, follow the process and upload your entry. And as we said, you've got until the 31st of May to do so. 2 months. There's nothing holding you back. Avi, not to put you on the spot, but you were a previous adjudicator for the Absa L'Atelier. What advice would you give to our entrants?
Well, the floodgates are actually open. So as an entrant, what makes you different? Why should we look at your work? Where is that particular special artist intuitiveness in your work that makes you stand out as a unique artist? That your work is really speaking the language that you're saying it should. That we are able to be seduced by your work in the materials you use, in the ability that you actually profess as an artist. So we're looking at, as I said earlier, creative bravery. That's what you need to have in your artwork, so that we are able to see this immediately and select you within the shorter refinement that we look at.
Wow. So there you are hearing it from the other side of the fence, from someone who has been part of that adjudication process. And Gordon, anything you would like to add on to that?
Definitely. I was an adjudicator many years ago for the whole country, and that was such an enriching experience for me, just having access to artworks and artists from all over the show. That was before the days when it was opened up to the continent. But just to add, the opportunity to get the exposure in 12 countries of Africa, plus in Europe, is an incredible opportunity. And it's only up to the artist to be able to grasp that opportunity and take it forward. Having spent time at the CITE and engaging with international artists from all over the world, that's just an added bonus. To be able to walk out of the CITE in the morning, turn right, and next thing you're at the Pompidou Center. Turn left, go over the bridge, and a couple of kilometers down the road, you're at the Eiffel Tower. These are things that you can never get anywhere else. And it's the only competition in the country that takes you continent-wide, Pan-African, and international. So please enter. And
that leads us to our next question. What prizes are available? What is up for grabs for the 2021 competition? Firstly, for the 3 ambassadors that get selected, each of you will be given a laptop with the necessary programs thereon. We are also living in times of uncertainty around the COVID pandemic that has caused a number of challenges. So what we are looking at as well is you will be put through 10 master classes. Each master class will be between 60 to 90 minutes. And those master classes will be from leading experts from across the globe that will help you in building your career, guiding you and nurturing you, and giving you the necessary skills to take your career forward. Thirdly, we will then also link you up with, as far as possible, with a mentor of your choice from your country, who will then mentor and guide you. And the 3 ambassadors will then work together towards a collaborative exhibition that will first open in the Absa Gallery in downtown Joburg in 2022. And then from there, that exhibition will then travel to the respective countries where the ambassadors then come from. And you will then also have an opportunity to travel with that exhibition as it travels to those respective countries. If we are still around a period of uncertainty, depending where we sit with the COVID pandemic, that exhibition could potentially also be a virtual exhibition. And we will then teach you the necessary skills of how to create and curate a fully immersive exhibition in a virtual space. Lastly, each ambassador will have an opportunity to take up a solo exhibition with the Absa Gallery within a 5-year period of winning the prize. So it teaches you, it positions you, and it builds your brand in your career and gets your name out there. And lastly, we did mention the Gerald Sokoto Award that has been sponsored by the French Embassy in South Africa, the Lance Francais, and the IFAS. That is open to South African artists aged 25 through to 35. And that prize specifically is a 3-month residency in Paris at the Cité International des Arts, followed by a traveling solo exhibition across South Africa. So there are numerous opportunities, and all we're really asking is enter. Log on to the website, upload your register, and then begin to upload. So there's nothing holding you back now. It's all within your hands. To my guests that have joined me, to Avi and to Gordon, a big, big thank you. Gordon, maybe just to you in closing, any final suggestions or comments that you would like to make? And
just keep making art and keep entering. That is the very, very important thing. Keep making, keep entering. We have the greatest talent in the world right here on our continent.
We have. And I think we need to start, and by yourselves entering, it allows us to celebrate in the rich talent that we've got. To Avi, thank you as well for joining us in studio. And any final comments that you would like to add?
Well, it could be your year. So I suggest you enter, and enter now. Thank you.
To all of you that have joined us from across Africa, a big, big thank you. And now, as my guests, Gordon and Avi, have also said, we want to encourage you to enter and begin uploading your entry. And if you have not, you have until the 31st of May to be able to do so. If you have any questions that we might not have addressed this morning, please complete the contact form on the website, and we will get back to you as well. So to every one of you, we look forward to receiving your entries. And with that, a big thank you and goodbye.